Hey guys, it's Will from Magic the Friendly Tavern, and today we're going to be playing around with my rock deck and explore on Arena. Um, the rock deck works this way. We have giant beaters at the top of our curve, which is 4 and 5. We only have one 5 drop and mostly 4 drops, and they are all undercosted. 5 for a 6/6 flying trample, that's great. 4 mana for a 5/6 flying trample, that's great. Sorin the Mirthless is a planeswalker that gives us value. So is Raska Golgari Queen. And we have Questing Beast with a 4 mana 4/4, but it's got 6 keyword ability, or it's got 6 abilities on it, 3 of them being keywords. Um, we also have threats at the 3 drops. We have a 4/3 Garruk's Harbinger that draws us, basically puts creatures in our hand when it connects, and Rotting Regisaur, which is a 3 mana 7/6 with a pretty big drawback, but we can work around that drawback. We also have one Biting Palm Ninja in here, which is a 3 mana 3/3. Enters the battlefield with a menace counter on it, and we can ninjutsu it into play. When it deals combat damage to a player, we can remove a menace counter from it, and if we do, they have to reveal their hand. We choose a now land card from it and exile that card. So it works as a removal as well if we can connect with it. We also have Tainted Adversaries with 2 mana 2/3, but for 3 mana we can kick it to make two decayed zombies and give this a +1/+1 counter, making it a 3/4 with 2/2 bodies that come into play. So we can have an army in a can if we need to go wide for a little bit. Defensively, Death Touch is great, even if it comes down as a 2 drop. Speaking of our other 2 drops are hard on us because they're double green. We have Barkhot Troll, which is a 2 mana 2/2, but it comes into play with a +1/+1 counter on it, making it a 2 mana 3/3. We can remove that +1/+1 counter from it, and it gains Hexproof till end of turn. We also have a Werewolf Pack Leader, which is also 2 green for a 3/3. But whenever you attack with a creature with total power 6 or greater, you draw a card, so it's more card draw. We also have Lawn of War Elves in here to ramp us. Think about it, turn 1 Lawn of War Elves and a turn 2 Rotting Regisaur. What more can you have than 7/6 power worth of beef out there on turn 2? Proactive removal, we have 4 Thoughtseize and 2 to rest. This proactively removes something from our opponent's hands that we don't want them to get. Like, we can get 2 Thoughtseize, and Thoughtseize our opponent for their 2 first plays, and then they can barely get into the game while we're smashing down with a 7/6. Um, we also have Blood Chief's Thirst, which destroys a planeswalker or creature with mana value 2 or less, but if it's kicked, it just destroys it. It's sorcery speed. But it's decent. It's decent early game for low drops, and it's decent late game for planeswalkers and problematic creatures. Other removal we have in the deck is Assassin's Trophy, which destroys any permanent, even troublesome lands. Your opponent gets a basic land card into play untapped, but that's a fine trade-off. Meat Hook Massacre is for when we're behind, or we need to clear out a whole bunch of token blockers um, to get a Regisaurus through. It gives when you pay X and the creatures get neg X until end of turn. This stays into play though. It's a legendary enchantment actually when it comes into play. And whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. And whenever a creature an opponent controls, you gain 1 life. So if they're in a sacrifice deck, this works against them. If they keep killing our creatures, we can punish them a little bit. Blood Pact is target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. That we want that. Again, this also has hexproof from black, as well as drawing or looking at revealing the top 4 cards of our library, or however big this happens to be, and then putting a creature card from among them into our hand. We don't have any planeswalkers, so that line of text is irrelevant. Blood Purveyor, your opponent casts a spell to get to create a blood token. But when Blood Purveyor attacks, it gets +1/+0 for each blood token defending player controls. So it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, they get a discard and draw artifact, but they have to slow down to use it. And if they keep them on the field too long, Blood Purveyor just gets bigger and it's nasty. Sworn draws us a card. Its first ability is kind of like a Bob ability, and it's a May. You don't have to reveal it, but if you do, you can put it in your hand. Or you can make creature tokens with it, which is great because it gives us more defense. Questing Beast is there to take out opposing planeswalkers when we have to make the decision of whether to race down our opponent or the planeswalker. We don't want to do that. We want to do both. So that's what Questing Beast is in here. It's just a beating. Vraska Golgari Queen is in here. Because eventually, if we start flooding, because we only run 20 lands, but if we do start flooding, we can cash in those lands to draw a card with the first ability, or we can cash in these Lawn of War Elves after they become irrelevant, or any of our other smaller creatures, or a Meat Hook Massacre. We can just cash those in on Vraska to draw cards. Well, mainly she's in here for destroy target permanent with mana 3 value or less. That's pretty good. Her emblem also comes up from time to time. If we can connect with a creature, they lose the game. Doomwhisperer is 5 mana, 6/6 flying trample. Pay 2 life surveil so we can fix the top of our library. So it's more deck manipulation. So we have a lot of draw, a lot of deck manipulation like a control deck, but we're aggressively slanted like an aggro deck. Then we have our lands. Castle Lockwane also draws us cards. Hive Tyrant turns into a creature, so that's more creatures that we have in the deck. It also dodges sorcery, speed removal, and wrath effects. We have a Takenuma Abandoned Mire, which is just more value. It's a spell and a land slot, so why not run it? And we have Beseiju, who endures, which is also a land or spell and a land slot, but it's also removal. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land. Again, going after those troublesome lands. And then over here is just our mana-producing lands. We have 4 swamps, 7 forests, 3 pathways, and 1 overgrown tomb. Moving on to the sideboard, we have 2 to rest to bring in to shore up the control side of our deck, because we are mid-range, so we're halfway between aggro and control, so we want to be able to go either way. We want to be able to either go the control route or go the aggro route. So Duress allows us to move into a control shell. Tamiyo Safekeeping is against other control decks to give us a leg up as an aggro deck. We have Find and Finality basically for the finality side to be able to destroy things. Lots of things, but using the Find part's good too. This is really good against other aggro decks, but it's in there. And then we have Bloodline Culling, because creature tokens really mess us up, and they get in our way and stop us from getting in. And if we can get rid of those creature tokens, it's great. So giving them -2/-2, we'll get rid of most creature tokens, the small ones anyways. The ones we're worried about, it gets rid of all of them. So that's what we want as a sweeper. If this isn't working as a sweeper, the creature gets -5/-5 until end of turn. It's still pretty good at instant speed. For 3 mana, it's alright because of the extra tacked on ability to take out creature tokens. This is just tech against that kind of deck. We have a Reclamation Sage, or 2. The reason we have Reclamation Sage in here is against artifact and enchantment decks. It gives us more game plan against them. And if anything, we need more creatures for our aggro plan. We can just bring them in as creatures. We then have a Callous Blood Mage in here, and he's in here because he creates 2 bodies in case we need to go defensive. He can draw us a card, and we lose 1 life in control matchups if we need more control. And he exiles target player's graveyard. Now, he only does 1 of these things when he comes into play, but we get to choose which one. And exile that target player's graveyard. I was looking for something that dealt with the graveyard, and this guy's fine because we can bring him in the aggro side, or if we need to control that graveyard, we can bring him in on the control side. We then have Baleful Mastery, and this is for anything that's indestructible like Trotsky. Exile target creature or planeswalker, just get rid of it. Problematic planeswalkers. Now we can either pay 4 for this or 2 for this. If we pay 2 for it, our opponent gets to draw a card, but we'll make that decision when we come to it. And then we have 2 Crooks of Fate. Crooks of Fate says destroy all dragon creatures, destroy all non-dragon creatures. We're hoping this works as a Wrath. We're hoping this is just straight up a Wrath. And it costs 5 mana, and 5 mana is kind of a lot for us, especially 6 mana up here on Finality. That's why on our sideboard we also have a swamp and a forest to bring in. If we need to go more on the control side, we have more lands then, plus our Lawn of War Elves, to push us over into 26 sources of mana. That 26 sources of mana will keep us running. That's what we want. And that right there is the deck tech. This is Explorer Rock version 2. This is actually version 3 now. We can update it. There, I made some changes. One of the other changes I'm thinking about doing is cutting all the double green and moving to single green, or maybe cutting green well, I don't want to cut green altogether. But we will see because we aren't very low on green. Just the double green's so hard sometimes, but I usually don't have any problem making it work. So there we go. Let's move. Let's get to some games. That's not what I wanted. I'm sorry, people. I'm not thinking. We have a couple of quests today. Explore play best of 3. Explore Rock version 3. Sounds good to me. Let's get these games started. Just waiting on our opponent right now. Here we go. Oh, this hand's awful. Oh, there's so many forests. Oh, there's no action in this hand at all. Much, much better. Oh, we'll take the second Infernal Grass down. Okay, and we draw into a forest. We'll lead with the forest. We'll play Lawnowells. They're on green-black as well. They play a Valky. We get one of our Barcry Trolls. We'll go ahead and play out Castle Lochwain because it will come to play tapped, and we'll play our second Barcry Troll. Oh, they play a Rotting Regisaur. Oh, deck after my own heart. I'm drawing to a Tainted Adversary. First, we're going to kill that 7/6. We'll swim with both. He won't block. He doesn't want to get rid of that Valky. I told you. We'll go ahead and run out the Boseiju who endures as a land. Roger. Gotcha. I know what type of deck this is. This is a fight rigging deck. So basically, they can put a +1/+1 counter on a creature they control at the beginning of combat on their turn. And once they have a creature with power 7 or greater, they can take the card that was hidden away with fight rigging. I forgot to tell you, I had away 5. And they can play that card for free. So they're going to put a counter on Valky. It's going to get in here for 3, I can imagine. Yeah. That's fine, though. Hopefully we'll run into some removal for this fight rigging. Thoughtseize. It's an idea, but I won't be able to play my Tainted Adversary if I do that. Go ahead and play this Tainted Adversary. We'll Thoughtseize later. The longer the game goes, the worse Thoughtseize gets, but it is very good turn 1 play. Alright. Valky becomes a 3/3 with a +1/+1 counter on it, so it'd be a 4/4. No. It becomes a 2/2 with a +1/+1 counter on it, being a 3/3. And puts another counter on it, making a 4/4. But now he has the ability to remove a counter to give it hexproof. That's really bad for us. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, we're fine with that. What to do now? Move to combat, obviously. Can't really get in. Two Galtas in hand. I think we're in a little trouble here, guys. Yep. Lose 2 life there instead of discarding a card. Oh, and they get the Shakedown Heavy. The Shakedown Heavy is how they're going to be able to turn the Spike Rigging on. And you can see they got some pretty nasty stuff. They're going to go to combat. They're going to try and pick that. And I can't, can I? Nope. And let's see what they play. Oh, and they get a Tybalt off of it. That is good game, sir. That Tybalt is not going to be able to beat. So let's move to the next round. We get the sideboard. Bring in Baleful Mastery. Bring in a couple of Crooks of Fate. And some Rex Sages. We have 5 cards in the deck. We're going to cut our Doom Whisperer for the Crux of Fates. I am going to go ahead and get rid of these Blood Chief. No, I don't want to do that, actually. I want to get rid of these Thoughtseizes. No. Get rid of the Barkhide Trolls. Yes. Okay, get rid of the Barkhide Trolls. Get rid of the Wolf Pack Leader. Run it back. I don't know if Crux of Fate is correct here, but we'll find out. Gonna be on the play. Great hand. And waiting on our opponent. Alrighty then. Forest, Llanowar Elves, go. They play a Pathway. And then they use the Adventure side of Bloodstruck Beast to make a 1/1 human. We're going to play Hive of the Eye Tyrant, so because we play untapped, we're going to go ahead and drop our own Rotting Regisaur. They stomp on our Lana Orels using the Adventure ability on the Bone Crusher Giant. I don't know, they didn't know they had so many Adventure cards. We're going to discard this Thoughtseize. We're well beyond that. Now, is whether we want double black or double green here. I'm going to go double black because we took out most of our double green cards. Next, we're going to swing with a 7/6 and get this 1/1 off the field. Yeah, we'll ninjutsu out the, or play out the Biting Palm Ninja. They upgrade our ninja. Oh man, this is a rough choice. We're actually going to get rid of the Assassin's Trophy. Next, we're going to swing in with our Redosaur into their open face. Take them down to 11. We're going to go ahead and Thoughtseize them. Because we can Thoughtseize them and play Tainted Adversary. Go. Yeah, we'll get rid of the Obnixilas. Play out the Tainted Adversary. Now we're not so worried about their Valky God Alives, and we're not so worried about their heavyweights either. Because I can just make them draw cards to get their heavyweights to quit hitting or blocking. Remove them from combat, at least from attacking, I do believe. Attacks only. Okay. That's interesting. I will swing trade. I don't want to trade my... Do I want to trade my Redosaur? I'm not going to be able to play the Sorin in my hand either, and it's going to get discarded. So yes, I do kind of want to trade my Redosaur here. That's fine. Hopefully we draw a land to play the Sorin. Yes, we do. Go ahead and play out the Sorin. Up ticket. We'll take that. No attacks. We're fine. And Valky's going to steal our Garruk Harbinger. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I should have thought about that. It's okay. I really need to get that card off the top of my library anyway to draw into something I really need. This 5/5 can get in now. I can trade my Tainted Adversary for it, but I'm not going to. Oh, it's a race attacking my Sorin. I should protect that Sorin, honestly. Yep, there we go. Well, Assassin's Trophy, the Valky, get back our Garruk's Harbinger to hand. Let them go get a land. We're going to uptick Sorin again. We'll reveal it. We'll take 3. We'll put Rex Sage in our hand. They're attacking into Sorin with the 1/1. Not a big deal. Now they're playing a heavy. And they play an Obnixilas Conniving or Casualty, the heavy, to make 2 Obnix, which is really nasty. Especially seeing how one has 6 loyalty. We don't really need this Rex Sage right now. We'll decline on discarding the Groot's Harbinger. We'll get a Bloodline Purveyor. Let's go ahead and see what's on top. We'll take the Tainted Adversary as well. We'll play the Bloodline Purveyor. He can make my Bloodline Purveyor lethal, and I can just go straight for his face. We'll play 2 life. That's fine. And they kill us. It happens. I didn't realize it was that close to an ultimate and what its ultimate did, and that's my fault for not reading my cards. Anyways, I've been Will from Magic the Friendly Tavern. This is my Rock Deck and Explorer. Thanks for tuning in. Happy pack pulls, and as always, happy games.